Before I start, I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think are the basic sciences in a STEM program? Tell me the sciences. Biology? Pardon me? Physics?
Geology.
That's the thing which has been left out. Every single time somebody said STEMs and talked about science, they left out geology. But if you think about the geology, I mean, what is the stream flowing on? Huh? Yeah, what did the rocks do to the stream, really? They changed the whole area, everything, but it depends on the rocks which are underneath, don't you think? How is the water, the pollution of the water, how does the water get to the surface? A lot of the times it comes through, or it's going to, what? The rocks, don't they? So everything starts basically with geology. I had a teacher who used to say geology started when the first people picked up the first rocks and started to make knives and stuff. Of course, it was always depending on chemistry. Chemistry is the number one. But I really truly believe that geology is one of the number one science, and it should never be left out. And what is really interesting that actually they realized at the very beginning of the Virginia Western Community College history, they have been teaching geology here since the 70s, early 70s. And a lot of the times we have taught like about 250 students at one time, because we had 2 full-time faculty. Probably a lot of you remember Dr. Roy Maas, and he was one of the longest teaching faculty here at Virginia Western. And if you can imagine, I don't know, a lot of you know Anderson Hall, don't you? But a lot of you don't know that half of Anderson Hall used to be geology. Like we had so many rooms and big saws to cut rocks and samples, which we had to shrink. But I think the importance of geology hasn't shrunk. I think it's still very important, and it's very important if you think of the STEM, that it has to start, like George was talking about the pH of the water, wasn't he? And what influences the pH, what kind of pH the rainwater has, and why. It's not just the acid rain. Naturally, the water pH is 5.5 because of the CO2 in the atmosphere, which making carbonic acid. And then when the acid rain hits, from the coal mining, then it's gonna go down to 3 actually, a lot of the times, and that's the acid rain. So I really truly believe that geology is one of the most integrated science, if you think about it, because we talk about the pHs, which is chemistry. We talk a lot about the biology, because if you think about evolution or paleontology, the students have to understand a lot of the biology. And of course, we have to talk about physics and geology too. So I believe that it's one of the most integrated class. Also, I want to tell you, Elizabeth, especially you, because it's a very low budget class. So when we are in budget crash, you just have to double the geology program, and it basically goes without money. We don't have to buy a lot of stuff. I can just go and collect some more rocks if we need. All we need is glass plate. I mean, really, if you think about it, that's what I was thinking, that we are low budget department, so we can run almost on nothing. On the other hand, I mean, how many of you have kids? What was the first thing your kids picked up?
Dirt. Sand.
That's what they do. So geology is the place where you can catch people for STEM. And I really think that it's a very important thing to catch them right there, because that is what their natural interest is. People want to learn about the rocks. They want to learn about what is the earth made of. And then when you go on higher level, you want to know, why do we have earthquakes here? And why do we have these hurricanes right here? You see what I mean? It makes just so much sense. And this is the place where you can really think critical thinking. You have to do a lot of it. You have to do a lot of reasonings. And I mean, I'm trying to do my very best, and I have to proudly tell you that I really have a lot of students who, through the program in the geology department, have become geologists. Like every year, I think I have at least 5. I have a good bunch of them who are PhD now. Some of them working here in the valley, but others went somewhere else to work. I had a student who finished at Colorado School of Mine, PhD in geophysics. And you know, like this is just a couple of pictures of my students who actually finished as geologists and them working out in the field. These two girls actually have been in different classes, but now they are best friends because they are in Radford University taking, you know, majoring in geology. So the department offers two kind of classes, physical and historical geology, and I think the lectures are pretty interactive because I ask a lot of questions while I teach, but at the same time in the labs they actually really work in projects together. And I just wanted to mention a couple of them. Like I would tell them after we finish the rocks and the plate tectonics, I'm giving them places on Earth, and they have to figure out, based on the rocks which I give them, they know the plate tectonic setting, they can use actually Google Earth and see the data, like how many earthquakes, if there is a volcano. They have to define what kind of plate tectonic setting is that, what kind of problems can they have, you know, what kind of volcanic eruptions will there be major earthquakes? If there was, would the FEMA have to do something? Would they have to move out? So it's really very integrated and very high level of critical thinking and reasoning. So I really believe that I can take this kind of project into our lab so the students really learn to think outside of the box. So as I just said, I have a couple of more pictures I've been taking this semester, so some of my students who are here can see themselves. We have a lot of field trips, and when I look at my faculty evaluation, one of the most important positive thing my students saying is that they love field trips, because those are hands-on, true experiences they can do to realize what they have learned in classes, you know, to realize how important it is. And of course, we have after-school activities. That's the cool thing about geology. We can go and do collecting trips. Like I have a couple of students right now who really want to be geologists. So they already bugging me all the time, so we have to go and do collecting trips. So we just go fun trips with the people who just like science but not necessarily want to be geologists. We would go visit museums or would go to cave tours and stuff like that. And I also, throughout the years here, I've been here forever, I think. Probably one of the longest. How long have you been here? Yeah. Oh, so then, no, I'm 18 now, so I've been here forever. I have done a lot of travel classes, which are actually field studies classes. We go to outside of Virginia, of course. We go out west, or I've done a lot of Europe trips also. And I have a couple of, oh, before that, the geology club, sorry. I got the, we have a very active geology club. Every time there is like a club exhibit, we're always there, and actually I have a little movie here. The president of the geology club have just done this little video. Why is it not going?
My name is Thomas Hale, president of the Virginia Western Geology Club. The main purpose of the Virginia Western Geology Club is to go back and rediscover old mineral localities, fossil localities, and their current day status. Today we are out in Schuler, Virginia, looking at an old abandoned soapstone quarry. Always remember the geology rocks, and I hope you will come out and support us on this wonderful adventure back in time.
And that's a couple of other pictures of our fun trips with the geology club. And then I have a couple of pictures of the travel classes. Like we visited places such as Yellowstone. And if you think of Yellowstone, you know, that's a super volcano. How many of you know that Yellowstone is a super volcano? What does that mean? Anyone? Like if it, Yeah, what happens if it's gonna erupt? Like basically FEMA would have to evacuate half of the country. Now, is it possible? Not really. So I'm making them actually, when they watch this super volcano movie, I'm also telling them that they have to figure out what could be done if something like that happens. We would be actually affected by it too. Like we'd have an inch or so of volcanic ash coming from Yellowstone. And these are some of the European travel classes I organized. And I think it's really life-changing experience. If people can travel with me, they'll never forget it. I can tell you that we have been Facebook friends since. And so I can actually see what's happening with them afterwards, which is, I think, also very important. We need to know what our students are doing later. The other thing I really would like to plan to do is on that thought, I said that the first thing kids pick up is the rocks. So I just figured that this is the best way to actually recruit students into the STEM programs is through geology. So we're planning to have geology summer camps. And we're planning to bring middle school group students, possibly elementary school group students, and just get them like Girl Scouts girls, because we need more girls in the STEM programs. So we can actually really spread the word, I should say, to show them how beautiful science is and how it's integrated with technology. So I think that is a really good place to start. And thank you very much.